Welcome to NEK VT Rocks. My guests today are Molly Geller and Will Lowell, and they are representatives of a fabulous program called Vermont Youth Conservation Corps. Tell us about it.
Sure. So the Vermont Youth Conservation Corps has been around for over 30 years as a program that offers employment opportunities to youth. The farm program is newer than that. That's been in effect since 2012 with a 8-acre farm out in Richmond. This Newport branch is new this year. So we have a crew of, now it's 9 teenagers working on the farm, on the old Scott Farm property.
Is this year-round?
This is a summer opportunity for the youth. It's year-round in Richmond for different programs that they do there.
Okay.
Out here, the youth work for 8 weeks, and the farm will be in operation through October.
That's great. Will, how did you get involved?
So I go to a program at the North Country High School called NEK-TV, and they offer a lot of these odd jobs and stuff like that, and one of them was the VYCC, and I was interested for a summer job, get some work experience and meet new people, and so I applied and I got it and ended up working for it, and a lot of the kids I know, so that's good.
So what exactly do you do?
So we plant vegetables in our garden, and like we are working on like a wash station for them, and we kind of just grow vegetables for the healthcare share, and we have a word session to kind of like learn life experiences, I want to say. Like we do the word sessions, and then like we'll chat about it for a while, and kind of, I wouldn't say it's a rant, but it's kind of, we just kind of learn.
Cool. And you're one of 9
Yes.
teens. You're all teenagers, right?
Yeah.
And you're all still in high school? Pretty
Yeah.
much? It's great. And do your friends like it as much as you do?
I want to say, yeah.
Pretty much?
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
you do it again?
Yeah, I would. It's
It's great.
a good time.
So Molly, to switch back to you for a minute, I live right by the program, so obviously I've been sort of watching it grow up, and so have my neighbours, and we're fascinated. What kind of acreage have you taken over, and what are you growing?
So we have, it's basically 1 acre exactly that we have taken over, as well as the old sugar shack, and a little part of the barn as well. And we're growing a wide variety of vegetables, so everything from leafy greens, squashes, potatoes, more fall crops like carrots and beets. We have some tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, a big variety right now.
Are the plants surviving, given that we've had no summer and a Vermont specialty spring? Like a deluge after deluge.
Yeah, so we had to wait later to start getting things in the ground, I think like everyone else did. But yeah, they're surviving. The soil's great there, actually. So, you know, some of the plants are loving the hot, dry days. Some of them are liking the rainy days.
So it's really growing. How are you handling Bambi? And for those of you who don't know what I mean by that, on the bluff we have an enormous herd of deer. And they're really good at visiting all of our yards. They come and help themselves to the pasta as salad, and they eat everything else. How are you guys keeping them out of what you've got?
So the crew built a 7-foot-tall deer fence before we planted anything in the ground. And that seems to be working fairly well. We've had some that seem to find a way past the fence. But it overall seems to be working well. We haven't had too many Bambi visitors, although we see them all the time.
Yeah, they come and watch.
Yes, they do.
I mean, they must be sort of standing on the edges saying, oh, look, she just put in carrots.
Yes.
We see them outside the sugar shack a lot.
Yeah.
Like, one time we walked up and there was like 3 of them up past the Sugar Shack. It was
Yeah.
really cool because you can just sit there and you're like super close and you just watch them.
Yeah.
They don't seem bothered by the
Yeah.
I live just across the street. I don't think they're so cool. Not anymore, anyway. But they are beautiful. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
You have lots of other critter visitors too.
Yeah, there's a groundhog that
Yes.
I'm trying
We've met
to
him.
deal with. Yep.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. I'm unsuccessfully
Yeah.
trying to deal with the groundhog. There's eagles on the property.
Yes.
I actually saw one this morning. It was perched on the fence when I drove up,
Oh,
which
that's
was
fabulous.
amazing.
Yeah.
And we've seen foxes.
Mhm.
We saw a baby fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone is actually interested in the eagles, if they go to the Vermont Land Trust Facebook page, there are some fabulous photos
Mhm.
of the eaglets
Yeah.
getting ready to leave, which
Yeah.
is wonderful.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah, they're great.
But to come back to you guys, what are you going to do with the veggies?
So they go towards a program called the Healthcare Share,
Mm-hmm.
which here in Newport partners with the North Country Hospital.
Right.
The Richmond Farm and the Rutland Farm partner with their local hospitals.
Okay.
And it's basically a free CSA model for patients prescribed by their medical practitioners. And those are chosen based on families who might be experiencing food insecurity or who have diet-related illnesses. So things like diabetes or heart disease that are related to a diet. They get a free CSA share once a week for 12 weeks.
Do you know when it starts?
It starts next week.
Wow, do you have enough veggies yet to contribute to it?
No. Well, yes and no. So our farm, since we got a late start up here,
Sure.
isn't quite ready
Okay.
for a full share this week. But since we partner with our Richmond
Oh, you
location,
can borrow from there.
yeah,
Oh, that's
and that was
great.
part of the model is
Yeah.
sort of being able to share veggies back and
Yeah.
forth between the farms. So they'll be providing a lot of the vegetables for this first week. And then in subsequent weeks, we'll probably have extra to give to them, and they'll switch back and forth that way.
That sounds like a program we should also have people on here to talk about. I mean, I
Yeah.
could either start asking you, how does somebody get that? How do you get food prescribed?
Yeah.
But I think we should probably do that next time.
Yeah, I
That'd be
mean,
great.
there's a lot of people who are involved with both the hospital side of things
Yes.
and with the Upper Kingdom Food
Yes.
Access Group.
I
I'm
know
sure
that
you
group.
know them.
I know them well.
And they've been working really hard to get this off the ground here in Newport and to work with the families who will be prescribed the shares.
That is fantastic.
Mhm.
How many people do you think you'll be able to provide shares to from just your plot here in Newport?
So this first year here, we're providing 60 shares. And a share feeds a family, so
Mhm.
it's generally enough for 3 to 4 people to eat vegetables for a week.
Right.
So it's 50 families through the hospital, and then we have 10 shares for the crew. So each crew member gets to take home their own vegetable share also, which is a big job benefit for us. Yeah.
So you're feeding your own families too.
Yeah, that's a big part of it for the crew members, I
That's really good.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. And are you growing any of the more exotic vegetables? I mean, up here we tend to be sort of a meat and potatoes
Sure.
area. So I know I do some work with the farmers market,
Mhm.
and sometimes when the more unusual vegetables come in, people don't know what to do with them.
Right, yeah. We are growing the standard vegetables,
Yeah.
so we will be providing potatoes and carrots and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But we are growing, we have celeriac right now growing, which people might not know what
I
to do
love
with.
that.
I do too. So the way that we kind of help people figure out how to do with what to do with those things is we provide a newsletter. So I think that's actually being written by the Upper Kingdom Food Access Group, which has recipes, and it kind of talks about some of those more intimidating vegetables that will be in their shares. We've also been filming our own sort of cooking show that is kind of getting off the ground now, where we will be cooking with some of those more unusual vegetables.
And how are people going to be able to access the videos?
So-
and the newsletter, for that matter.
The newsletter will be provided at the pickup site for their CSA shares. So that will be a physical printed out newsletter that they can pick up with their share and take home with them. Our cooking show will be on YouTube. and we've done one so far.
What have you done?
We cooked enchiladas with black beans and rice. I don't know what we'll be doing in the future, but it's basically through our food and finance program, which is a weekly sort of cooking, nutrition, and finance lesson that takes place at the United Church of Newport downtown.
Yeah.
They let us use their kitchen, which is very
lovely
gracious.
Kitchen.
It's beautiful. Yes, it's very nice of them.
So we could get a link to that
Yes.
YouTube and post it attached to this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah, so we'll be sending that link out to all the healthcare share members, and they can sort of view those videos with their shares to see, at least one idea of what to do with their vegetables.
Yeah. So, Will, you're learning to cook as well.
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
What have you cooked so far?
So we cooked, the first thing was stir fry. And we had, I forgot what the dessert was, but it was like, was it strawberries?
Yeah.
It had strawberries and other thing. It was like a pie, kind of. And then we cooked enchiladas, and we've only done 2 so far. So
Is the food all vegetarian? Because that's what I'm hearing so far. It is?
Sometimes, yeah, I think so. I don't know if we'll do any, thing different in the future, but mostly, yeah.
You're going to be mostly vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian, so that's great to hear.
I think the point is to cook with vegetables.
Yes.
I'm a vegetarian too, but that's not necessarily why we do it this way.
Just a little subtle influence.
Yeah, it's more, if we're teaching how to cook with the vegetables and the shares, then why not make it
absolutely
focused on the vegetables and the shares?
And it's affordable food, which
Yes.
is really important.
Yes.
Yeah, at the end of the class, we add it all up and we see how much per person it is. And then after we're all done eating, we still have some leftovers. And we kind of bring it to the shack because if somebody forgets lunch, they can eat that. And so that's cool.
I remember just before you started, I saw an email that was requesting a refrigerator and some other equipment. Did you get it?
We found it's a mini refrigerator, so it sort of does the job that we need.
Yeah.
And someone did graciously drop off a microwave for us.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Do you need other equipment and other items for your program? Because here's an opportunity to let the world know.
Yeah. I mean, nothing really that I can think of unless someone has that refrigerator that
A real refrigerator.
Yeah, so if anyone's getting
So if somebody's
a
looking
refrigerator
to
away.
rehome a refrigerator, Bluff Farm would be really happy to have it.
Yes.
And it would be located in the Sugar Shack?
Yeah, it would basically be for lunch stuff. So
Yeah.
for us to keep, food on hand for the crew.
Neat.
Yeah.
You never know what might just show up now.
I know.
Trying to get a whole bunch of packages.
Yeah.
Yeah. In your hope list, wish list, are you hoping to continue there after this summer?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would love to see the program grow even after the summer. I think 60 families is great, but I know that Newport has many more families
Absolutely.
that could use a share. And the property is beautiful.
Yes.
And I could definitely see using it in the future for,
Yeah, for those of us who live in Newport, it's wonderful having real green space in
Yes.
the middle and letting people retain their roots with how food gets to our table.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to lose that.
Yeah.
And it makes such a difference. So what would you like to see come after this program?
After this program, on that property.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
What can we help you advocate for?
I spend a lot of time thinking about this.
I bet.
There's a trail system back on that property. I would love to see some of those trails maintained, which is something I'd love to get another VYCC crew on. I mentioned that the program does a lot of conservation work. So actually, most of the VYCC is based on conservation projects, so trail building and, sort of maintaining natural spaces.
Yes.
I'd love to see a crew do some of that back there and take care of those trails and make them more accessible to the public. I think they are publicly accessible,
Right.
but I think that not many people know about it, just based on how many people I see actually using them, which is not many. So I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a bigger farm operation there, maybe utilize some of that barn space for, maybe some animals or something else. It's a beautiful property.
So we could hope for sort of fresh eggs in our future there? Or?
I think that might be a possibility. They do raise chickens for eggs and for meat on the Richmond farm, so that might be a possibility here. Yeah, we'd have to get someone else in to do that because I'm not.
Oh, I'm into
not that into the animal side of things.
Yeah,
but
we're not really big into that because we had to go do that the other day in Richmond.
Yeah.
Sounds great to me.
Yeah.
Not really.
Oh. What about bees?
I'd love to get some beehives there. We don't have any hives on the property this year. I'd love to maybe partner with a local beekeeper to.
I think there are lots of ways of doing that.
Yeah.
And in Westfield, which isn't far away, there is a big bee farm who is always looking for other locations for hives.
Wow.
So that would be a great connection.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to get some of that happening.
Be fabulous.
Yeah.
And there are some beekeepers, including myself, in the neighborhood, so...
I have seen a lot of bees on the property.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Because the pollination is so important, and we can sort of be an experimental area because there's so few pesticides in our area.
Yeah.
That it would be wonderful to be able to do that.
I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah. What else would you like to see there with your program?
I don't know if this could be through our program or not, but I would love to see that the sugar bush get utilized again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We currently kind of like hang out in the sugar shack. It's where we eat lunches and stuff, but all those taps are still set up, and it's a beautiful sugar bush.
It's a lovely,
Yeah.
lovely site.
So I'd love to see that restored and kind of utilized again. Yeah.
When we first moved here, it was a fully functioning sugar house. It was great.
Yeah. I think it seems pretty recent that it hasn't been used.
Yes.
But I'd like to
Because
see
of
that happen
when the
again.
farm had to be sold,
Yes.
then that was unable to be used.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it would be wonderful to see that again. Would you be interested in doing sugar bush kinds of work? And do you think some of your friends would?
Yeah, I'd be really cool because to learn that area of work, kind of, because just the process of it is kind of really interesting.
Are there opportunities for other young people to become involved?
Don't we have a volunteer day at the end, and people can come and volunteer and try it out to see if they like it, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not just one day. It's anyone could volunteer at any point. And then, so this year we have our cruise set.
Yeah.
But in future years, there's always space on cruise for more young people. And I don't know what it'll look like in future years. I think it does depend on, what happens with the land trust and what happens with the property. But there's definitely ways for young people to get involved as a crew member in the future.
And are there ways for them to get involved, say, as a volunteer now?
Yeah, definitely.
How would they do that?
So I think the best way would be just to email me and let me know that they are interested in that. There's definitely always things to do on the farm. So there's always spots and opportunities, and I'd love to teach more people about what we're doing.
Do you have age constraints?
Our crew members are 14 to 18. Volunteers could be,
4 to 40.
anyone. Yeah.
8 to 80.
Yeah. Whoever wants to come and say hi or do a little bit of farm work or just chat with us about the property and the project is more than welcome.
Yeah. Have a lot of people from the neighborhood come over to speak to you?
Yeah.
That's great. So great.
We have a lot of people that come and
tell them about our visitor.
We had a visitor, and she brought us cookies and iced tea and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
One of our neighbors.
Yep. She brought us a whole bunch of stuff just to thank us, and we got to take a break and kind of just chillax and talk. It's really cool. And then people like to like pull over and ask about the property and stuff like that. And it's just kind of good to talk to people and get recognized.
That's great. So if more of the neighbors were to stroll over with iced tea and cookies, they'd be welcome?
Maybe.
I bet they would.
9 teenagers.
Yeah.
They're always willing to eat cookies.
Well, actually, so am I.
So am I too. I ate 3 of them. So.
Yeah, it must have been good.
They were.
Yeah. So when you go back to school, which I presume you're going to do, because you're not ready for graduation yet, are you?
No.
How much longer do you have? What grade are you?
I'm a sophomore.
Oh, then you've got lots of recruiting time ahead of you. Are you going to do some recruiting for the program?
I will try. I will try my best.
Because if it's a program that so many of us knew nothing about, I would bet that's true for so many of the kids in your school. Yeah. And nothing is better as a recruitment ad than somebody who's an enthusiast who's done it.
Yeah. Some kids like that aren't old enough to get like real jobs yet, I think it would be a good idea to start with this, because you get to meet new people and make new friends and just learn a lot of experience, so you're ready to go into other jobs to have your social experience.
What a great way of describing this. And
could be some of both.
I sort of raised my eyebrows when you said who are not ready for a real job. I'm thinking, this is a real job. You guys are working hard.
Yeah. Wow.
And you're doing something that's really important.
Yeah. Because most like jobs, like you need to be like 15 or 16. So like this, you can be like 14 and like younger than usual to get this job. So it's just a good way to gain experience.
And learn a lot of things. Because you're going to be really well equipped by the time you go back to school. You're going to know how to cook, how to make videos, how to grow vegetables. It's a whole big skill base.
Yeah.
You would think that this would be a program that more enthusiasts go back to school. How many of the kids are from North Country that are involved?
Let's see. 5, I want to say.
So 5 of the 9.
Yep.
From here. Good. So together you could really convince others that being involved locally. I think one of the things that, and clearly I'm not from Newport originally, or from the area, is what does it take to get people involved in their community? Because the more a community comes together, the more wonderful changes happen. And I sometimes look at Newport and think, oh, that program would be amazing if they could just get a few more people involved, just to get it to the next step.
Yeah. I don't really know, because people have like their different things. Some people, like, I feel like they want to, but they're also shy at the same point, so they really don't want to. And some people just really don't want to do it. They rather do other stuff, or they're not interested, so they never try. Like, at first I wasn't really interested, but then I tried it out, and I really, really like it. It's actually really fun to do this.
So for you, for example, you had to get over that first step, which was, I'm not so sure. Okay, let me try it.
Yeah. I feel like if other kids do that, they would be interested as well, because it's good.
Yeah. So maybe there's a way that there can be teen recruiters going out too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know they do a lot of recruiting that way with the Richmond location, sort of going to high schools and setting up a booth and having an ambassador.
Yeah, they do that with JP sometimes.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe you could be our ambassador.
Molly wanted to look into the after school program for kids, like after school, that they can do that for a couple hours. So that'd be good.
That would be great. Your school used to have a horticulture program.
It still does.
It still does?
Yeah.
'Cause I heard that had somehow been sacrificed.
No, I took it last year, actually.
And it's going to continue this year?
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, because that would be a good place to recruit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you hoping for a career to move into something that's land related?
I don't really know yet. I like this, and I like the social aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really thought I'd be into this kind of stuff, but it is really fun. So I don't know, I guess I just have to kind of wait and see if I would actually pursue in this.
Yeah. Are there opportunities to learn some of the, quote, modern farming skills as well, using machinery and technology? Because I grew up in a rural area, and when I look at how we worked then, it's very different now. I mean, we used to get a week off school for potato picking.
Right, yeah.
And we did it all by hand, and we all hated it.
Yeah.
But we did it, and
Yeah.
now it's such a whole different thing.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways to go about farming now. There is the so-called modern way of utilizing big machinery, and the larger farms, like our farm in Richmond, does a lot of farming that way. So
Yeah.
they have a tractor, and they use all of the technology that way. We only have an acre plot, so we
Right.
don't really need any of that. But there's a lot to be learned on a small plot without using tractors
Right.
as well. There's, a lot of different methods of farming, and not all of them are mechanically based.
Right.
So I've actually been learning a lot about this too. I've never farmed on a small scale like this before, and it's something that I've found really interesting, is learning the different methods to make a small plot very productive. And I think those are really valuable
Oh, yeah.
lessons to learn too.
Yeah.
Maybe more valuable than the mechanical skills. So, yeah, I think there are opportunities for it. If we go down to the Richmond location, which we do once in a while, and have a work day there,
Sure.
there is learning opportunities for the mechanical side of it. But here we're learning our sort of small scale
Sure.
side.
Which is so valuable in a community.
Oh, absolutely.
What's your background, Molly?
So I've worked in farms for the last 4 years. I've done farm apprenticeships on different organic vegetable farms in the area. Most recently on Harvest Hill Farm, which
Yeah.
is in Walden.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
And that was, a really awesome experience there. I've never actually worked this closely with a group of teenagers before, and I love it. You guys are great. Yeah. Which makes it a little bit of a different experience for me. But, I mean, it's been amazing. It's a great organization to work for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems just so great for Newport to have this now as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because in some ways we are a food desert, which
Yeah.
is sort of crazy sounding, but we are, and
It's
there's
true.
there's so much food insecurity here.
Yeah. It's like 25% of
At
families
least,
or something.
at
Yeah.
least. And then we have small towns that are connected, like Troy and North Troy, that can't even buy an apple because they have no stores.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, we're running out of time. But are there ways, just as last thought, that you could be connected with places like Troy and North Troy and somehow reduce some of the awful food insecurity there?
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Great.
So right now we're partnering with a medical center in Barton and another one in Island Pond, and those are connected to the North Country
Yes.
Hospital. So we're actually doing 3 different
Locations.
for our CSA.
Good.
So there's absolutely an opportunity for some of those smaller towns on the outskirts to get more connected. And we're hoping to
That's
extend
great.
that network in the coming years.
Okay, so clearly the next show has to be about that share program. And
Yeah,
Get them
I think
more
that's a great
information.
idea to sort of connect it on
Fabulous.
that level. Yeah.
well, I really want to thank both of you for coming. I mean, I've learned so much about this. I mean, I live opposite, I see what you're doing, but that doesn't tell me any of the other things that you're involved with. It's just great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
And
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
hopefully we'll have you back again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd really like to know more about how you guys recruit from other teams and get more young people involved. It'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.